Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here in Kansas City, Missouri for the final game of the opening game day 1 for the Big 12 Soccer Championship presented to you by Sprouts Farmers Market. CPKC Stadium today has been full of many stories. We started off today in the morning where Oklahoma State came back and beat Cincinnati 3-2. Later on in the day in Game 2, we saw two good squads in Colorado and Utah face off against each other. A game where the Utes started off winning 1-0, and Colorado stormed back to win this game 2-1. A couple of minutes ago, we just wrapped up Game 3. That game included Baylor and Arizona. A fierce game where Baylor started winning 1-0. When it seemed that Arizona had the edge on the game, tying it 1-1, Baylor came back to win it all. Some say they saved the best for last, and this game is no special occasion. We have Arizona State facing off Kansas. My name is Joel Lara, and I'm here with Mihir Sinhasan. And we are moments away from this make or break game for both squads.
Yeah, we sure are, Joel. I mean, these are two teams, and this is the case throughout the entire first round, right? They're not projected to make the NCAA tournament, especially with all these teams making the moves, right? This is an Arizona State side that in the Pac-12 was pretty solid, right? We're usually the 5th or 6th best team. Obviously, they couldn't get past the Stanfords, the UCLAs, the USCs of the world, and those teams are obviously title contenders. But now they're in a conference where they feel like they could really take control, right? And that was the expectation. They would take control. They were expected to finish 5th out of 16th. But some losses later, especially some tough losses, right? A stretch where they lost every game by at least 3 goals, and all of a sudden they're sitting at 11th. They're fighting to get to this point. You know, it's hard to say this, and if you were to tell me this in August, I would have said you're crazy, Joao. But Arizona State is lucky to be here. Arizona State is lucky to be here. And again, you can talk about the talent, you can talk about the coaching, but this is when, as a fan base, if you're Graham Winkworth as a coach, the players on the pitch, you have to lock in, right? You realize this is a new season. Everything starts up again, and includes this game against Kansas, right? They lost to the Jayhawks at home 2-1 in a very sloppy game on both sides, but it went in favor of Kansas. And, you know, now it's not a home game because Lawrence is 45 minutes away. But at the same time, if you look out towards the far side, there are a lot of blue and red shirts there. Not too many people wearing maroon and gold. And that's, I think, the type of message that if I'm Graham Winkworth to saying, hey, look, they beat us on our turf, let's beat them on theirs.
And I love that statement. Really, beating them on their turf. Now, the hopes of a state relies on ASU here, as Arizona just packed their bags and will be leaving Kansas City. Now, what are some keys of success, not only for ASU to pull off the upset against Kansas, but for Kansas to maneuver around this ASU team that at times has been inconsistent, but when they play well, they're marvelous.
Yeah, I think for Kansas, it's just about maintaining possession, right? They have a really big midfield, and that's what happens when you tend to play in a 3-5-2, as they've done throughout this entire season, where you can really just stick it to them through the midfield. Jillian Gregorski, a master at that, as a freshman, mind you. It was really between her and ASU's Kira Blundell for Big 12 Freshman Player of the Year. It went in favor of Blundell, and now you're in a position, if you're Kansas, to say, hey, let's go at them, right? We knew what happened, and both in that game too, Joao, both of the forwards scored, right? It was Sage Wimes and Lexi Watts who both started that game, and it was just simply just pressing, right? Simply just going at it, right? And as much as Grace Gillard, Olivia Coleman, and that back line can be for Arizona State, even with Pauline Nellis in goal, you can't do much, right? You've got to be patient. You've got to be locked in as Arizona State. And if Kansas can once again undermine Arizona State's defense and tactics the way they did just a few weeks ago, I think they got another dub in their hands.
Now, a couple of keys, I think, for Arizona State also. Obviously, you talked about Pauline Nellis registering 70 saves already on the season. She has been an absolute wall. It's currently in second in ASU's all-time shutouts with 18 total shutouts in her ASU career. And then not only that, she is ranked 51st among all goalkeepers in NCAA for shutouts this season with 6. Now, we talked about Cara Blundell, we talked about Pauline Ellis. We're forgetting one key name. That name is Asia Cologne, registering 7 goals and 7 assists this season. I think she will be vital for these Sun Devils to pull off the upset and stay in Kansas City for a longer while. Now, there's a lot of things that ASU needs to do, and I mentioned it earlier with Colorado. They need to be patient on the ball. When stuff starts getting tough, there can't be the Gillard long ball trying to find Blundell up at the top, because it's not going to work. It hasn't worked all season, and it's very difficult to see it working now.
Yeah, and I agree with you too, because now this is where tactically stuff happens, right? And Cologne's having a different role this year. She's not the primary goal scorer. She's got Blundell on her side. She's got Valadares on her side. So it's all about creating those chances. Create those chances, create some pressure, and things can go your way.
The talent from Bradenton, Florida should be absolutely exciting today. I'm excited to see what Cologne has in her magic hat, as we're moments away from starting the game. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Carrie Matthews playing the ball with Asia Cologne. Asia Cologne with Gillard. Gillard sends a ball up and high for Cara Blundell. It is recovered by Kansas. Kansas hitting a long ball over, trying to get into ASU territory. Now, ASU is in all black tonight. They're attacking from left to right. Kansas is in their traditional white and blue, attacking right to left. There is a handball in the middle of the pitch, right side, and it's Asia Cologne who lines up on the ball. On the left side of the pitch, she has Matthews. In the middle, she has Blundell, and on the right, she has Valladares. It would be interesting to see who she decides to play this ball to. Is it going into the box? Is it going to the side? And it is going to the right. I think she hit a little bit of the pitch there. We had some dirt lift up, but it is now Sophie Daw, the Kansas goalkeeper, who has the ball in her hands.
Yeah, you mentioned the pitch, Joao. That was something that we've seen throughout the day here, where the pitch is just not as consistent. It's not as thick as it is compared to like other places. Again, a lot of southern cities going with Bermuda grass. That's not the case here in Kansas City.
Kansas letting a shot outside from the box, but it's Pauline Nellis who grabs the ball with ease and is now trying to start an attack. Tried to play on the right with Megan Farrell. Wasn't able to. Now has the ball at her feet. She loves playing with that ball at her feet.
Yeah, she sure does, and sometimes that's the best thing a goalkeeper can do, is how to distribute and really try to get a possession going, because it's those key moments that can help you out.
As we now see ball going into the box, rejected by Coleman, as it was Grigorski inside the box with the ball. Can't get a good touch. ASU recovering. It was Lucy Johnson who ended up receiving the ball on the left flank. Wanted to give a through ball into Matthews, wasn't able to. Ball goes out for a Kansas throw-in. Here with 43 minutes played from CPKC Stadium. Score 0-0. As we now see Kansas giving the throw-in with number 18, Lexi Watts. Not able to come up with anything there. Bad touch from the Kansas player. It's going to go ahead and be an ASU throw-in from the left flank. It's Johnson. Johnson trying to give a ball over to Cara Blundell, who had dropped back to try to receive that ball. Kansas provides a little bit of trouble there for ASU. Lucy Johnson has to header that ball out on that left flank once again, and it's going to go ahead and be a Kansas throw-in. And it's Lauren Wood. Lauren Wood looking for multiple options. She has Wimes, and she plays it to Wimes. Wimes facing Johnson. Johnson putting in just enough physicality to win that ball, and now it was Kettles with it. She ends up losing it. Kansas with the center inside the box, going to the left side, but Pauline Nellis once again with the commanding save inside that box.
Yeah, and again, Pauline Nellis just tracking the ball well. Grigorski tried to make that run inside, but just couldn't get her head to it.
Megan Farrell trying to get a ball to Cara Blundell. Instead, it's intercepted by Michaela Merlo. Merlo decides to play it back with Jordan Feldstad, and Feldstad plays it wide on the left side with Kate Langfelder. Ball goes up to the pitch on the right side, and there will be a flag up for offside position. The player offside was number 18, Lexi Watts, and ASU will reset from the back. Now we see Pauline Nellis on the ball. A season really full of highs and lows for the German goalkeeper from Bonn, Germany. And honestly, she's been amazing to watch at moments, and then there's been other moments where it's just it's gotten tough, and I mean it's not only been like that for her but for the whole team. Now we see Carrie Matthews on that right side, on that Kansas right side. Has to play back with Johnson. Johnson wants to pull that ball back. Instead, it's hit out by number 13, Lauren Wood. And it's going to go ahead and be an ASU throw-in on that right side, passing the halfway mark. And it's Johnson. Johnson with the options, with Matthews, with Kettles, with Blundell in the back. Decides to play a short with Matthews, but instead it's Wood who gets a foot on it. Hits it up in the air, and there's an ASU foul. It's Grace Gillard who commits the foul against number 4, Sage Wimes. And it's going to go ahead and be a dead ball for Kansas from their own half. As we now see number 8, Kate Langfelder. Langfelder who has to play it wide with Castens. Castens who played it phenomenally the first time Kansas faced off against ASU in Tempe. And now Kansas playing the ball back again. It's going to go ahead and be Olivia Page. Page now with the ball at her feet, with time, with space, and plays it wide once again to Asa Kante.
Yeah, it's been interesting to see how Kansas has worked that back line. Again, Brooke Otto really playing that area. She was a captain earlier this year. You know, you also had Mackenzie Bovey out there on the right-hand side. Neither of them starting this match. Both of them started that match against Arizona State on October 20th, which, again, was 9 days ago, Joao. So that shows you the type of turnover. And, again, in a long season like this, you're going to have a lot of injuries. You have to make sure your players are with good health.
And especially at this time of year, I mean, you're getting into playoff seasons. You want to make a deep run. You got to make sure you're all good. And that's the importance. I mean, there's many squads today that we've seen that have had plethora of just players on the bench that are ready to go in, ready to make an impact. For example, last game, Caroline Staubach comes in off the bench, scores a goal, and ends up giving Baylor the upset. So he could go ahead and move on into the second round here. And now we see Kansas play the ball right down the middle. It's going to go and be Wimes. Wimes playing it back to Langfelder. Langfelder playing it wide to the right with Wood. Wood once again with Wimes. Wimes opening the field. Now it's going to go and be Castens. Castens facing pressure from Cameron Valladares. Has to play it with Langfelder. Langfelder playing it once again with Castens. Castens with the cross into the box. Goes wide, and it's going to go ahead and be a ASU goal kick with Pauline Nellis in the back.
That's a good job by Arizona State, just forcing Kansas to really drive into spaces where they don't feel comfortable. They want to go towards the wings, and Kansas is a good team, but then again, Castens has played in that winger spot, but she was playing further back too. So it's now up to these center midfielders to drive balls in, and it's a very direct-oriented group for Nate Lee. And again, that's been a team that has caused some problems for Arizona State, and credit to Graham Winkworth for making that tactical adjustment.
Very well said, me here, as we see Lucy Johnson trying to hit a ball over to Kira Blundell. Unfortunately, it goes over. Now it's a Kansas ball. Castens now playing with Langfelder. Langfelder back with Conte, and Kansas is going to put this game on ice. They're going to maintain possession, how you mentioned earlier, me here, and they're going to try to force ASU to sort of be like Utah and Colorado earlier today. Super aggressive, chasing the ball, looking for that high press. Ball going long into the left side of the ASU box, and it's going to go ahead and be a throw-in for Kansas. 37 minutes played here from CPKC Stadium, where Kansas and ASU are currently tied 0-0, as we see Wimes trying to put a center into the box, across into the box from the left side, and it's going to go ahead and be Gillard who boots it out to that right side of the field. Kansas throwing, and it's going to go and be Castens with the ball in her hand. Castens looking and finding Wimes. Wimes finding pressure from Coleman, and Coleman is going to go ahead and successfully take that ball. Passes it to Kerberg. Kerberg tries to launch it up to Cameron Valladares, and ASU is losing the ball here in the back as we now see Grigorski. Grigorski trying to play wide with Langfelder, but instead ASU recovers. Now it's Valladares. Valladares fighting with Castens, and Castens is going to go ahead and win that battle. Give it wide to Grigorski. Grigorski goes wide to Merlot, and Merlot just tries to play wood. Unfortunately, not able to find it there. ASU complicating themselves from the back once again. It's Grigorski outside the box. Plays it wide to Langfelder. Langfelder with the shot. It goes right over the bar, and Kansas is knocking on that door with 36 minutes here left to play in the first half in Kansas City, Missouri.
See, that's the thing with Kansas' center midfielders, Joao, is they can just find that space. Kate Langfelder, she just found that space in the area. And again, 18 yards out, why not have a crack? Why not try to assert your dominance against a team you've already beaten in their home place? They're trying to do so early.
Blundell beating Conte with physicality, plays it wide to Cologne. Cologne trying to play a driven ball to Kerry Matthews, isn't able to get there. ASU now recovering the ball, and it's going to be Megan Farrell on that right side, trying to play it through to Cologne, isn't able to do so, and Page doesn't want anything to do with that. It goes out for a ASU throw-in in their own half. Megan Farrell now on the ball, trying to give it to Cologne. Bounces off of Langfelder, but Cologne stays with the ball. Now Cologne is fighting with Grigorski, and Grigorski is going to go and win that battle. Ball is now at the feet of Castens on that left flank. Ball goes up to Wimes. Wimes approaching the left side of the box, fighting against Coleman, and Coleman wins that battle of physicality and is now trying to drive that ball to Valladares. Ball goes out, and this is going to go ahead and be a Kansas throw-in on the left flank once again. And it's Castens who's going to serve that ball, trying to find options. And she does. She finds Merlot in the middle. Merlot playing it wide to Castens on that left flank. What is Castens going to do here against Farrell? Castens with the low driven cross into the box, and it finds the foot of Olivia Coleman, and she blasts it out almost to the second level of this stadium, this 11,500 seater. And it's going to be a Kansas throw-in, where Castens decides to play it short with Watts, and the ball now finds Castens again, right outside of the box on that left side. Playing with Page. Page with Castens, finding Merlot in the middle, and it's going to go ahead and be a attempted shot from Lauren Wood. Ball sails over the goal. No danger near, but Kansas still maintaining possession, touching the ball very well, and causing problems for ASU in the middle of the pitch.
You know, this tournament is all about ebbs and flows, Joao. We've seen that earlier today with a lot of these teams, and even with Baylor, Arizona, the game right before this, you know, Baylor, for a good chunk of the second half, was not the better team, but they still did well defensively, and once their moment came, they were able to get the goal, and they were able to get the upset, and that's the same thing Arizona State is trying to do today.
You are correct. Cross pass from Farrell to Cologne. Cologne finding pressure from Langfelder, decides to play back on Coleman. Coleman is going to distribute the ball with Nellis, and Nellis is going to go ahead and find Gillard. Gillard is finding the pressure from Wimes, and the ball is now once again with the German international. Has been with the German youth system since 2016. Has played from U15s all the way to U21s. And now we see Kansas with the ball. Castens on that left side of the pitch. Ball going over, trying to find Grigorski, but Coleman gets a good head on it. Now it's Farrell. Farrell trying to distribute from the back. Attempted pass to Valladares. Not good on that right side. Kansas is going to recover. Now it's going to be Conte from the back. Conte plays it to Page. Page to Conte, and Kansas is going to try to find an open space to drive up that ASU pitch. And it's a long ball to Wimes on the right side of the pitch, fighting against Gillard. Gillard is going to try to shield that ball. Does it very well. Puts the shoulder right on her shoulder and lets her know it's not going to be that easy. I'm not going to let you pass.
Yeah, and Gillard, again, she was one of the players that Graham Winkworth talked and said, hey, you know what? You're going to get your moment. You're going to get your chances. And she's come in and really helped this team physically, just from a leadership perspective as well. Syracuse transfer replacing Liska Carlier, who was a longtime ASU center back and did kind of the same thing, and also wore the number 4. So it's been about replacing these different ideals, the different players, and that's something that Graham Winkworth really tries to do in his squad.
and it's definitely worked. Grace Gillard has been one of the defensive standouts for ASU this year, including Megan Farrell towards the middle of the season, and Olivia Coleman, who out of nowhere became a defensive stud for that ASU squad. It's going to go and be a throw-in at the middle of the pitch. Lucy Johnson with Carrie Matthews throws it right over, but it's Asa Kante who gets a foot on it. Johnson finds the ball once again. This ball is bouncing back and forth in the middle of the pitch, but now it's Langfelder. Langfelder finding pressure from Cologne, and Cologne ends up stealing the ball. Now with Blundell. Blundell giving it to Cologne. Cologne attempting a shot right outside of the 18-yard box, but it's going to sail wide to the left, and nothing is going to happen here. But ASU has found their first attempted shot of this match, and it's fine. It doesn't matter that it went wide. They're starting to create chances. 30 minutes now left to play in this first half. ASU and Kansas at a standstill.
I think the one thing, though, I will say about that Cologne chance, it's ASU getting into the attacking third, which is the first time they've done so today, Joao, and we're nearly 15 minutes into this match. So it shows you that ASU will have to make their chances on the counterattack. They'll have to have that communication so they can go forward.
And Coach Nate Lee giving some indications on that sideline to his players, and Megan Farrell is going to go ahead and give this throw-in for ASU. Megan Farrell trying to find Valladares over the top. But instead, it's going to go ahead and be Paige who rejects the ball. Ends up giving it to number 12, Merlo. Merlo decides to play back with Conte. Conte plays it wide with Feldstad. And once again, Kansas just trying to keep possession. And what this allows them to do, whenever they're touching that ball in the back, it allows players to move around, find the space, as we now see Feldstad. Feldstad plays it wide on that right side with Lauren Wood. Wood finds Wimes over the top on that right side. She is now approaching the box with Lucy Johnson on her back. Wimes with the half turn. Now finding Wood. Wood trying to give a cross, but Lauren Kerber gets a foot on it. This ball is now rolling down the middle, and it stays in Kansas possession. But now they're in their own half with Olivia Page. Page finding pressure from Blundell, has to play it to the middle to Conte. Conte now playing wide with Feldstad. This ball is now on the right side of the pitch with Wood. Wood trying to find Merlo in the middle. Once again, ASU trying to get on the counterattack, but now it's Kansas. Kansas with Grigorski. Grigorski finding Kerberg, and Kerberg is going to go ahead and take that ball for ASU possession. Gave a pass to Blundell and is eventually recovered by Kansas. Good sequence here. Let's see what they could do. But Megan Farrell gets a foot on it. But now recovered in the middle once again by Michaela Merlo. 28 minutes left to play here from CPKC. Game is still 0-0 as we see ASU try to play from the back with Johnson. Johnson has to play that ball out for the Kansas throw-in. Didn't have any options and didn't want to force a pass. You don't want to force a pass there, especially in the middle. As we now see Watts. Watts playing it in the middle. It's Merlo. Merlo once again to that right flank. Finding Wood. Crossing to the box for Grigorski. Bounce back from Farrell. But complications in the back. Confusion for ASU. It's going to go ahead and be Merlo who finds the ball inside and she scores. What an unexpected sequence for the Jayhawks. But nevertheless, they now find themselves up 1-0. And it was a goal from Lexi Watts. When ASU's defense looked like they had it under control, Megan Farrell had the header. The ball goes through between her and Gillard. And it leaves Watts right alone for the Jayhawks to go up with 28 minutes left to play here in this first half.
Yeah, and the thing is, too, is it was a mistake in the back. That's how Kansas scored both goals in Tempe, Joao. Same thing happens here in Kansas City. And the entire Arizona State starting lineup, they're having a meeting right now, and Pauline Nellis is just leading the charge, and she's probably telling her girls, hey, get it together. You know, your season's already on the line. You have 90 minutes to prove yourself, and now just less than 20 minutes in, you allow the opening goal. So now you have your backs against the wall, and you've got to do something. Now, I will say this, too. The past 3 games, the team that scored the opener ended up giving up an equalizer. So we never know.
Let's see what Arizona State, or let's see how, not what, let's see how Arizona State reacts to this unexpected goal from Kansas. When ASU looked like they had it under control, they started going through a difficult sequence, and unfortunately they now find themselves down, and Blundell waiting for an indication from the referee who it seems like he's at the VAR checking for an offsides. He's coming back, and he's going to go ahead and give this goal to Kansas. Their bench celebrating. And Blundell and company have a lot of ground to try to catch up. And it's going to be Sage Wimes and Jillian Gregorski who register the assist here on that goal, as ASU now starts from the back.
That's the
Johnson on that left side.
That's the triple threat for Kansas, Joao, is just going at it. You know, Wimes, you have Watts, you have Gregorski, essentially your attacking midfielder and 2 forwards. And here they are again.
Gregorski now right outside the 18-yard box. Tries to let a shot out, but Lauren Kerberg with a nice slide to block that shot. Kansas still possession. It's going to go ahead and be Wood wide. Finds Langfelder in the middle with nobody on her. Shot goes over the bar. Kansas is knocking once again. They're not happy with one. They're looking for 2.
You can't leave Langfelder that open in the box, and she tried to get it off the volley, which, hey, I fully respect it too. I mean, again, she's from Switzerland, or rather, she has dual citizenship with Switzerland. So, hey, Europeans, they always like that one-touch football. They like passing, right? That's what makes European football so special. And to be honest with you, that's something that America really has to work on. But nonetheless, like, those are the types of moments where you cannot be lacking as a defense. Simple as that.
And not just that, I mean, Graham Winkworth is playing a defensive system. Let's face the facts here. And as a midfielder, you're also supposed to drop, and you're supposed to look to help the defense, but also go up to help the attack. And we haven't seen that so far. Kansas now outside of ASU's box, near the 18-yard. And a sequence of the ball bouncing, not finding an owner yet. And it's going to go ahead and go out for a ASU goal kick. Pauline Nellis talking to Grace Gillard, giving her indications. She's desperate. She wants to win. And you saw it after the goal. I mean, she got in with them in the huddle, and she was the one barking at them, letting them know, you know, we're messing up. We got to fix something here. Cameron Valladares receiving that ball from the goal kick. Wanted to play a nice little one-touch pass to Megan Farrell, and Farrell didn't understand, and the ball's going to go out for a Kansas throw-in. Throw-in attempted to number 18, Lexi Watts, and it's going to be Lauren Kerberg who launches the ball out. Another Kansas throw-in, and Caroline Castens is the one with the ball in her hands. Decides to play it to Michaela Merlo, and now it's going to go ahead and be Lexi Watts trying to give a cross into the box, deflected off of Olivia Coleman. And 25 minutes left to play here in Kansas. 25 minutes left to play in the first half in Kansas City, and ASU is currently down 1-0 against the Kansas University Jayhawks.
And again, the worst thing about Arizona State giving up a goal is giving up 2. So if you're Pauline Nellis, you realize the game is not over. You have to get your defense in the right spot.
As we now see Castens playing with Merlo trying to give a cross into the box, finding Gregorski going with the shot right over the bar. Didn't have direction, had the power, but it's going to go out for an ASU goal kick. And ASU not showing signs of life. They've only had that one shot thanks to Cologne. Now we see Gillard from the back. Gillard has to play with Nellis. Nellis facing pressure from 2 Kansas players. Plays it to Kerberg. Kerberg with a one-touch pass to Coleman. Coleman now finding pressure too from Kansas. Tries to play the ball up to Blundell, and now it's a Kansas ball. Kansas trying to play the ball over, but it's Farrell. Farrell who hits her with her head and recovered by Gregorski in the middle. Ball going over the box, over Gillard, but now it's Pauline Nellis with the ball in her hands. ASU playing quickly. Lucy Johnson on the left side, trying to find Carrie Matthews on that left wing. Rejected very well by Jordan Feldstad. And Wood is trying to get the ball, but it's Asa Conte in the back. Playing with Olivia Page. Page with Conte once again. Ball is now going wide with Wood. Over the top to Wimes. Wimes on that right side, fighting with Gillard. Gillard facing that pressure after winning the ball. ASU now on their left flank. Facing problems, Gillard has to launch it out. Straight into the crowd for a Kansas throw-in. And Lauren Wood is looking for that ball. She has Wimes, she has Conte, and she has Feldstad to play it with, but can't seem to find the ball just yet. Wood with Conte. Conte with two options, decides to play with Page. Page now pushing up the field, crossing that middle mark. Tries to give a pass on that left flank, but instead it finds the feet of Pauline Nellis. And Nellis is scanning around, trying to see who she finds, but Kansas is positioned very well defensively.
Yeah, most definitely, because they can see when Arizona State's making an attack. They can see when the Sun Devils want to go to their wings. To be honest with you, Joao, save for that Anasia Cologne shot, I think they've only had one trip to the attacking third, and we're halfway through the first half. That's how good Kansas's defense has been.
And it's going to be important to see how ASU goes into halftime pretty soon here from Kansas City. 22 minutes left to play. Jayhawks currently beating the Sun Devils 1-0. And the Jayhawks have a throw in dangerous position near the ASU box on the left side. Watts with Castens. Castens with Page. Page now having to play the ball back right to that center hash with Feldstad. Feldstad playing wide with Wood. And now it's in ASU possession with Lucy Johnson. Lucy Johnson playing with a nice through ball down the middle with Kara Blundell. Kara Blundell pushing up the pitch. Decides to play it wide with Asia Cologne. Cologne finding pressure from Grigorski. Has to play it back with Farrell, and Farrell plays it with Coleman. Coleman now finds Gillard. Ball over the top to Johnson. Johnson eye to control. And it's Wood. Wood who tried to play with the self-pass. Ball is now in the feet of Gillard, and Gillard decides to play it back with Nellis. Gillard now with the possession. Giving it to Johnson, and Johnson with another bad touch, and now it's in Kansas possession from their own half. Page. Scanning, looking, finding Conte. Conte with the wide ball now with Feldstad. Once again with Conte, and Conte has to play with Page. Kansas knows they're up. They're taking their time. They're going to play with the ball, and they're going to try to find someone as this ball is launched up forward, trying to find Wimes. But Gillard gets her left foot on it and hits that ball out for a Kansas throw-in on the left flank. As now it's Wood. Once again, trying to push it up, most likely find Wimes. If not, Langfelder's making the run. Instead finds Conte in the back. Conte playing with Page. Page now crossing that middle mark. Has to find Castens. Castens facing pressure from Bayard Ayers. Plays with Page. Page with Conte. Conte with Page once again. And it's Page who tries to play a ball over the top to Lexi Watts. Puts too much power on it. Goes out for an ASU goal kick. 19 minutes left to play here in the first half. And Kansas is still winning this game 1-0. And there is going to be a substitution for the Jayhawks. Mahir, can you tell me who's going in and who's going out?
Yeah, so Sage Wimes is going to head out. And coming into the game is Sophia Nickel. And we've seen Nickel play higher up. Even though she's listed as a defender, she can even play forward. She's played attacking midfielder before. Just someone who can really get into the Sun Devils' face. And to be honest with you, I think the Jayhawks need that. You know, they've had a lot of aimless possession recently, like Arizona State, still trying to figure out what they're trying to do to get that second goal and try to get that chance.
Wood hitting Grigorski on a driven pass. Grigorski trying to let out a shot. Coleman, who Slides, blocks the shot. Gillard has to slide that ball out of play. Kansas throwing from the left flank. Wood now on the ball. Referee blows his whistle, and it's Olivia Coleman who is still on the ground after that slide tackle against Grigorski to stop the shot. Coleman is now luckily on her feet. And Kansas, who's still waiting on the referee, and it seems that Jordan Feldstad is having a talk with the referee.
Yeah, it seems like maybe just trying to relay something to the bench, because now she's making the jog over, but doesn't seem like she's being subbed off. Not entirely sure what happened. I mean, she's still fully she's still fully in uniform. She's just having basically a talk with one of her assistant coaches. She's pointing towards her ankle. I think that's what it is. So seems like a little bit of a knock, and Graham Winkworth will have a chat with Cameron Valadares, hopefully trying to get her into some space.
And Feldstad will be substituted off for number 17, Emily Tobin. Let's see how the loss of Feldstad affects this Kansas team and how they play. As Conte now plays with Castens in the back. Kansas, who seems like they've moved to a 3-back.
Yeah, they've been running 3-back for a while, but Feldstad can really be fluid in the area.
Wood now going into the box, setting off a shot. Pauline Nels with a nice one-handed save to deflect that ball over the bar. It was a shot that was going straight to that top left angle, but Pauline Nels had the angle covered well and sends it out for a Kansas corner kick.
Yeah, and that's a good save by Nellis. I mean, that's the way she is. I mean, Graham Winkworth has described her as the best goalkeeper in the nation. At the very least, the best goalkeeper in the Big 12. And even though the stats have not backed it up this season, she makes saves like that for a reason, right? She just locks in at the right moment.
Big money saves as the ball now goes into the box. Pauline Nels, who has to tip it. That ball was sailing right over the middle. Now goes out for another Kansas corner kick. Nobody getting ahead on it. It could have been dangerous if somebody just would have touched it.
Yeah, Olivia Page with a possibility there. You know, I think there's so many chances for Kansas in general to possibly just get something going in that area.
Ball now going into the middle of the box. Grace Gillard, who manages to hit it out, but it's Lauren Wood with a shot right outside the box. Doesn't place it very well. Instead of going out for the goal kick, it's going to go out for a throw-in. On the right-hand side, Megan Farrell looking for someone to throw this to. And plays it over Valladares. Valladares trying to play a ball over the top to Blundell. Blundell ends up struggling with the Kansas defender. And ends up tripping Langfelder for the foul. It's going to be Conte who's going to try to play his ball from the back. 16 minutes still left to play.
I think it's also important to note too, Joao, we saw that change where we saw Felstad head to the bench. I think she's back in now, so it seemed like she had a little bit of debris, a little bit of blood on her number 11 jersey. She's now wearing number 38, but still in that right center back spot. So again, very helpful for Kansas. She has the ability to drive forward, tends to play the right fullback, even though she's playing center back today. Good addition back to the pitch for Kansas.
For sure, as we see Langfelder now play to Conte. Conte in their own half plays it wide to Page, and Page is going to push up this pitch a little. Tries to find Watts. Instead, almost ends up finding Sophia Nickel in the back, but ball is going to go ahead and go out for a goal kick. And there will be a substitution for Arizona State. Coming off number 10, Asia Cologne, who hasn't had that much production. Going on number 7, Megan Sofield.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens here, because you got Matthews back on the right-hand side. And again, she's playing more forward in that right forward position. And again, she's been a jack of all trades, playing center midfielder, playing right midfielder, maybe up top. She's now there. I like this pairing of Valadares and Sofield. I think Blundell's actually staying in the game. So this is kind of an interesting tactic from Graham Winkworth for Blundell, who, yes, is wearing number 9, but also plays the number 9 spot. So she is that center forward. Will be very interesting to see what Winkworth's plan is here.
ASU can find the attack right here. Lauren Kerberg trying to play a ball over to Megan Sofield. Puts too much on it, and it's going to go out for a Kansas throw-in on the right flank. It's Wood on the ball once again. And it's interesting to see what position Kara Blundell's going to take here. She was positioned on the right side. Now she's on the middle, but now we see Kansas on the attack. With Watts. Watts playing it to Langfelder. Langfelder playing it to Watts once again. Now it's Watts with Langfelder right outside the 18. Trying to let out a cross to who seemed to be Michaela Merlo. Instead, it's going to go out for a ASU goal kick. And
that's the thing, though, is it's just aimless possession for Kansas and for ASU alike. But I think it harms ASU more, not just because they're down a goal, but the fact of they haven't had those chances, right? And this is a team that is not used to not holding the ball, right? And that's, I think, one of the reasons why, hypothetically, they don't get too many wins on the road, right? They're not used to being not being a possessive team, right? That's why in non-conference they do very well, because they can hold the ball, take their chances, they know they're the better team, and it shows. But in your match like this, you got to make sure that you're in the right moment.
Blundell now with the ball, playing that winger position, finding pressure from the Kansas defender, plays it to Farrell. Farrell plays it to Valladares. Valladares, who had Sofield on the wing, decides to play with Kettles in the middle. Ball deflected off a Kansas defender, now with Valladares. Valladares to Blundell. Blundell with the left-footed pass to Matthews on the right side of the pitch. Near the box, ball goes out, and it's gonna go ahead and be a Kansas throw-in. And a Kansas substitution. Lauren Wood coming out, and number 17, Emily Tobin, coming in once again. And it's just very confusing, the type of style that ASU is trying to play with. And we'll see what they try to do in the second half. Throw in now. Bounces off the head of Nickel. It's going to go ahead and end up finding the feet of Nellis. Nellis playing it to Kerberg. Kerberg playing it back with Gillard. Gillard with time and space. Plays it short to Nellis once again. ASU needs more offensive production. And now it's Gillard. Gillard pushing the ball up the pitch with pressure from a Kansas defender. Ends up giving it away. Ball that was about to go over to Gregorski. Now instead it finds the feet of Farrell. Farrell, who tries to play it to Matthews, is hit by Page, and that ball is going to go out for an ASU throw-in on the right flank.
And again, for ASU, I think you need those substitutions, someone who can come off the bench and wreak some havoc. Addison Haas, who's just checked in for Blundell, first off, I think is just a better position, too. Haas is used to playing that winger spot. She can even slide in behind, but I think Graham Winkworth also just wants some more pressure, right? I mean, you have Matthews, you have Valladares, you have Haas, you have Sofield out on the left. You know, it's kind of interesting because there's no true number 9, but all of them at some point can play number 9.
That's very correct, as we now see Kansas trying to play his ball from the throw-in. It's going to be Nickel. Nickel, who finds Langfelder, plays it wide to Merlo, and Merlo, who finds Hammondtree inside the box. Hammondtree, who can't hit that ball well, goes out for a ASU goal kick. 11 minutes, 15 seconds here left to play in the first half from the Big 12 Soccer Championships in Kansas City, presented to you by Sprouts Farmers Market. Ball now going out of play. It's going to be an ASU throw-in on the left flank. And it is Lucy Johnson. She's going to try to find someone here, but has had difficulty all game from the throw-in, not able to find anybody.
Yeah, and that just shows you how Kansas's defense has really been trying to take this start-restart mentality and just really choke out their opponents that way. And that's something that's really changed under Nate Lee, because for the longest time, Kansas has just been very passive in the Big 12. They've been good, but they haven't been good enough, and that's where Nate Lee, 3-time Big East Coach of the Year, is trying to change it, right? This is a guy that historically has changed programs. He changed Xavier as well in Cincinnati from just being a mediocre team to all of a sudden being a perennial top 25 squad and just being out there in the Big East. And now he gets to bring it to a Power 4 school and show his talents. And that's the thing with Kansas is there's a newfound energy with this guy at the helm.
Kansas, who was on the attack with Jocelyn Harema. Now it's Coleman who hits it out for a Kansas throw-in. Castens, who gives it quickly a Nickel. Nickel playing with Langfelder. Langfelder playing wide with Castens once again on that left flank. Castens with a nice feint. Giving a shot inside the box. Going right over that bar. Very close attempt from Kansas once again. Kansas knocking on that door. But ASU now from the goal kick. Grace Gillard from the back. Gillard pushing up that ball, lifts her head, tries to find Valladares in the middle. Deflected, and it's now going to find Hawes. Hawes now crossing that halfway mark to Megan Sofield. Megan Sofield trying to find Valladares wide. Rejected by Kansas. And now it's going to be Kansas who tries to find the counterattack here with Castens. Castens with a long driven ball trying to find Arema. And Arema, who seemed to be one-on-one with Pauline Nellis, is going to be flagged. She was in an offside position. And ASU is going to start from the back again, this time with Coleman. Coleman with Nellis. Nellis, who is getting further and further from her box, could be dangerous. Now finding pressure from Gregorski, decides to play with Gillard. Gillard trying to go between two, almost losing that ball. Instead, Nellis is going to pick it up and play it quickly to Coleman. Coleman playing on the right side with Farrell. Farrell with Matthews, now pushing the ball up the pitch. What can ASU do here in this attack? Matthews, who loses the ball, can't touch it. Now it's Castens. Castens playing with Harema. Harema trying to play a ball over to find Nickel. Instead, it's going to find Nellis in the back. 8 minutes left to play from CPKC Stadium in this first half, where Kansas is still leading this game 1-0. ASU doesn't find the solution, and it's Nellis from the back. Nellis fakes across and hits it over to the left side with Johnson. Johnson not able to control. Now it's Kansas who could get on the attack. It's Nickel. Nickel on that right side with the ball into the box for Gregorski, but instead it's going to be Lauren Kerberg with the left-footed tackle to get this ball out of play and for a Kansas throw-in. Kansas with 10 shots, 3 on target. ASU with only 1.
I mean, that's shown how Kansas has just taken this game over, Joao. You know, it's just down to possession. It's down to little chances, and it all snowballs together.
And now Kansas trying to find the cross into the box. Almost found Jocelyn Arema in the middle. ASU, who try to clear that ball out, instead it goes out for a corner kick, and it's going to be Castens again, Caroline Castens. Looking for the left-footed cross, but also has a close option. Gives indication. Players now moving inside the box. Ball going towards Nickel. Bounces off of her left leg, and it's going to go out for a ASU goal kick. And Pauline Nellis now from the back. And there is going to be a substitution for Kansas coming off for the Jayhawks. It's going to be Jillian Gregorski. And coming on, it's going to be number 6, Amika Kawogish. 6 minutes left to play. Kansas from the throw-in. And it's going to go ahead and be Wood. Wood, who plays it in the middle with Hammondtree. Hammondtree trying to find Nickel in the box. Instead, it's rejected, and ASU trying to clear his ball but can't. Nickel fighting with Gillard. Nickel almost getting past Gillard. Gillard having to slide, putting her body on the line, and it's a Kansas throw. And once again from the left flank, nothing is going right for ASU today as Kansas now tries to throw a ball inside the box. And it's going to go ahead and be Arema. Arema try to give a low-driven pass inside the box, rejected by ASU, but another cross inside from Kansas. Finding Langfelder. Ball now cleared by ASU. It's going to go ahead and be a Kansas throw-in here in the middle of the park. Another substitution for the Jayhawks. Coming off of the pitch, number 26, Sophia Nickel. And coming on for the Jayhawks, number 98, Shay Ryan, the freshman from Roseville, California.
Yeah, much needed rest for Kansas's forwards. Just, you know, they've been working very hard. Watts and Wimes both alike, and you get Kawagish in a position that she's played before, but not as much, and then even Ryan as well. It also shows you how confident Nate Lee is in his squad. He's like, well, here's the thing. You do your job, and I know you guys have done your job over the past 40 minutes. I'm going to toy around a little bit. Let's see what happens.
Indeed, let's see what happens here as ASU tries to give the ball from the throw-in. Cleared once again by Kansas. This time, Jordan Feldstad, who's wearing the number 38 instead of the number 11, how Mihir mentioned earlier. And it is now a throw-in for ASU, and it's Megan Farrell, who hasn't found luck on these throw-ins today. Nobody really moving around. Everybody's staying stagnant, and it's affected ASU in multiple ways. Ball that is now going down the pitch. Megan Farrell trying to play with Matthews. Matthews right outside of the right side of the box. Cross in from Valladares. And it is now in the hands of Daw. Daw, who's going to take her time. There's absolutely no rush for the Jayhawks. They're winning. They're in a calm position, and Daw is going to hold on to this thing as long as she can. Bouncing the ball twice. Launching it across the field to the left side, trying to find Kawagish. Instead finds Farrell. Farrell, who played it to Hawes. Hawes now losing the ball to Kawagish. Kawagish playing in the middle with Hammondtree, who had to play back with Page. Page now pushing the ball up the field, down the middle. Trying to find Harema. Instead rejected by ASU. Now a tussle in the middle for the ball, but it's going to be Kansas with Page. Page now going near the left side, crossing that halfway mark. Launches a ball up. Trying to find Harema. Harema, who has an opportunity here. Strikes it with her left foot, but Pauline Nellis keeping the ball safe within her grasp. Lucy Johnson trying to play a ball over to Valladares. Instead, it is going to be launched out by Asa Kante. And Johnson, who had received the ball from Kante, couldn't control. And now it's Kawagish who's on the attack. But Gillard doesn't let her pass. Knocks it out for a Kansas throw-in. Down that right flank once again. Kansas with the heavy play down the flanks.
Yeah, for sure. And I think ASU is just trying to recall in the situation and just try to hunker it down just in these moments. You know, when everything's just going wrong, it's just about, you know, it's almost like emergency relief, right? That's what this first half, ever since the goal, has felt like for Arizona State.
Kansas now from the throw-in. It's going to go ahead and find Lauren Kerberg instead for ASU. Tries to clear the ball. Finds a Kansas player, but now it's ASU who find themselves on the counterattack. Ball going over. Trying to find Valladares, but no direction on that ball. Instead, it's going to be Asa Kante on the right side of her own box. And what a disappointing attack for ASU. Now it's Wood. Wood having to play the ball in the middle, and Page is going to launch that thing out, trying to find Ryan. Ryan, who commits a foul. Excessive force pushes Johnson from the back. 1 minute, 30 seconds left here to play in the first half from CPKC Stadium, where the Kansas City Jayhawks are currently leading the ASU Sun Devils 1-0. And Lauren Kerberg is going to try to give a good service into the box. Ball going over to the right side. Coleman, who gets a touch on it, and Asa Kante, who has to send this ball out. It's now going to be a ASU throw-in from the right side. Addison Hawes, who jumps on the ball immediately. And 1 minute left in the half. Time slowly fading away, just like the day here in Kansas City. And it's Megan Farrell, who's looking for somebody but can't find anybody for the throw-in. Plays it to Valladares. Valladares with a one-time touch to Farrell, and Kansas, who's going to clear this ball once again for another ASU throw-in. Olivia Coleman. Coleman on the right side and decides to play it off to Farrell, and less than 30 seconds left to play here from Kansas City, Missouri. Now it's 20. Ball launched up to Ryan, but Gillard is going to go ahead and reject it. And now it's Cowgish. Cowgish, who wins the battle versus Matthews, tries to give a ball up once again to Ryan. Foul committed by Carrie Matthews. And it's a dead ball for Kansas, but they're going to let the time run down. And in a disappointing first half for Arizona State, they're currently losing to the Kansas Jayhawks 1-0. Mahir, how have you seen this first half?
Disappointing. I think you hit it right on the nail. It was disappointing for Arizona State. That was one of, if not the worst half I've seen from Arizona State this season. And I think here's another thing, too. This team's lucky to be down 1-0 at half. They really are. Only one shot, and that was from outside the box. Not much trouble on the ball. This team has not found any spark in the attacking third. And if they continue to play like this, well, 45 minutes down and 45 later, you're going to be on a flight back to Tempe. Simple as that. This team needs to find some sense of urgency, and I think they also need to retool. Whatever happens with Kiera Blundell, I didn't like how Graham Winkworth really framed that. They need to find Blundell in more open spaces. They need her to go forward. If she doesn't, or if she doesn't return, well, who steps up then, right? Then it's really down to, can Megan Sofield do it? Can Cameron Valadares, who's playing number 9 for one of the first times this season, can she do it? Because she's so used to playing on the right and taking players on one-on-one. It's all about retooling, and now it's all about, can you get that one moment? And maybe that's the thing. If you're Graham Winkworth, you're saying, hey, I mean, this game is not for us. It has not been for us through these first 45 minutes. But all we need is one chance and one shot to go in. One thing that can change momentum. And we've seen this before in soccer throughout. So it can happen.
You've hit it right on. You've hit it spot on. I felt like your explanation could not have been better. Kansas is not playing a entertaining style of play, to say the least. It's really just the balls trying to go over the top, trying to see if they can find somebody. Maybe they win through pace. And with ASU, it's just been disappointing. The way they lose the ball as soon as they get it back. As you said earlier, they're a possession-based team. But how can you play possession-based if you're not keeping possession at all? You receive the ball, you boot it out. It's simply disappointing. Let's see how ASU reacts to this. Let's see what Graham Winkworth ends up doing. And ladies and gentlemen, this has been the end of the first half here from CPKC Stadium. Mahir and I will be going to a break, but we will be right back momentarily. Thank you guys for tuning into the first half.
I thought I released a good album until Naughty Step said it was bad.
I hear this project and I am frustrated.
I better listen to Blaze Radio.
Hi, I'm Pedro. Did you know you can listen to anything? Blaze Radio says you can, and so do I. I believe that until listened to, every song, album, EP, and DJ set is hot until proven otherwise.
And that's why I fight for you, headbangers. Hot FM.
Hot FM on Blaze Radio. Listen live every Monday at 11 a.m. on blazeradioonline.com. That's blazeradioonline.com.
This is what I wanted. This is what I've been waiting for these cars to come off of this corner. And guys, it's showtime. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Ooh, let's go racing today, boys.
Are you a racing fan or want to learn more about the sport? Join Cooper Burns and Eric List every Tuesday from 1 to 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Blaze Radio as they discuss everything from NASCAR to dirt racing and more on Fuel for Thought.
How to throw a football. How to hit a baseball off a bat. How to make a basketball go through the hoop and make that swish sound. These are all questions we wonder when we are learning how to play a sport. But have you ever wondered what it may be like to interview someone who is in the sports industry? Like, how do I become a broadcaster? How do I become a graphic designer? How do I become a public address announcer? It's all here. How to Sports, your go-to sports industry leading show here on Blaze Radio and blazeradioonline.com. Tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. with Ryan Pasesnik, Max Williams, and Tyler Wargo. How to Sports. It's in the game.
Grab your mates and join us for the finest sports show on Blaze Radio, The Irish Hello. With the wisdom of the Irish duo, you'll have the knowledge of old pals at the pub, sharing each and every moment. Join Aidan O'Neill and Shay Maloney every Wednesday night from 8:30 to 9:30 for breakdowns of sports news across the world as a pot of gold awaits.
Welcome to 4 on 4, where we have all 4 experts on the 4 major sports. Join Sammy Newt, Dylan Wickman, Justin DeHaas, and Sean Brennan on Blaze Radio as they break down an exciting semester of sports that includes the MLB postseason, top NFL storylines, the biggest offseason news from the NBA and NHL, and anything relevant happening in the sports world. At the end of the day, we're just 4 roommates that love to talk sports, so join the conversation. Listen live on BlazeRadioOnline.com every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Arizona time, or if you missed us, check us out on Spotify, where you can hear all of our shows.
Hi, I'm Casey McNulty.
And I'm Brooklyn Cohen.
And welcome to The Hot Seat, where each week we answer your burning sports questions. Want to hear us settle sports debates and talk about our biggest takes in the sports world? Well, we've got you covered.
As 2 former athletes and current sports journalists, we offer the perspective of what it's like to be on the field or court
or pool.
So tune in every week at 10 a.m. on BlazeRadioOnline.com.
See you in the hot seat.
Coming this fall, Friday Night Lights Camera Action, Blaze Radio's premier sports movie talk show returns.
There's no crying in Friday Night Lights Camera Action.
If you ain't first, then watch Friday Night Lights Camera Action.
Guys, there are rich teams and there are poor teams. And then there's 50 feet of crap. And then there's people who don't watch Friday Night Lights Camera Action.
Remember the time Friday Night Lights Camera Action showed up at halftime and Blaze Radio won the Bourbon Bowl? Friday Night Lights Camera Action, Friday starting at 9 p.m. Arizona time on BlazeRadioOnline.com.
Now go out there and take it.
What's up, everyone? Life is confusing, so I, Natalia Marin, have decided to answer some of life's wonders, asking the question, does it work? AKA the name of my new show, Does It Work? Will have fun conversations featuring my hours of research, evaluating if cultural phenomenons, government systems, and psychological theories actually work. Make sure to listen live every Monday at 9 a.m. on BlazeRadioOnline.com to see, if it works.
Just a music show on Tuesdays from 3:30 to 4:30. A show about sampling. Hosted by a city boy named Shane Saya. Talking about free samples.
Ever feel like you don't quite fit the mold?
A Little Unorthodox breaks it completely.
Join us as we dive into the messy intersections of faith, identity, and culture with stories that don't always follow the rules.
From in-depth interviews
to live event coverage,
we're here to explore what it really means to belong or not.
Join us, Emily Fox-Million
and Abe Mogelson,
on Sunday at 11 a.m.
Because sometimes the best way to make sense of it all is by getting a little unorthodox.
Yes, sir. Nah, I'm hearing what you're saying, but what's your take though? Yeah, he's cool, but Heisman? That team don't got nobody on there who could shoot any type of threes. I'm supposed to believe they're a playoff team? You're not answering the question. The question is, who is the better football team right now? Hey, I like that take right there. And it's not even close. What are we talking about? There's no midfielder as naturally talented as him in the last 20 years. Tune in to Let's Talk Takes every week, hosted by me, Devin Henderson, where I bring in different guests each week and we debate the most pressing topics in a variety of sports. I'm talking NFL, NBA, college basketball, college football. We even gonna talk about some soccer. Tune in every week, Thursday, 2 to 3 p.m. right here on BlazeRadioOnline.com.
Hey, it's me again. It's your good friend, Max Cepeda. And the only guarantee I can give you is this. Any Tuesday night, anything can happen.
God, you're so good at interviewing, Max. Someone give him an award.
It ain't about the game, it's about the game. You feel me, Max?
That's no.
It ain't about the game, it's about the
She
game.
decided she was too good for Disney, and I was like,
She wins no matter what. Taylor
crazy.
Swift is always right.
Blaze Radio presents The World According to Zippy, Season 3. Tuesdays at 8 p.m. only on Blaze Radio and BlazeRadioOnline.com and wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, why are you crying?
Charlie Blackman's gone!
What do you mean Charlie Blackman's gone? You got Zach Veen. That will be ready to be called up in center field.
Who's Zach Fiend?
You get to hear all about Zach Veen every Monday from 8 to 9 on Up on Deck on Blaze Radio.
Every Monday, baby!
The following is the Fatal 4-Way Podcast, and it is scheduled for one fall.
Join Luke Carter, Justin Lacertosa, Luca Lindo, and Dylan Oliver every Monday from 4 to 4:30, where we talk about all the high-flying, table smashing, eyebrow raising, limousine riding action in professional wrestling.
Welcome to your favorite show where everything is untitled, unscripted, and unhinged.
Us Podsmiths and Yes Podsmiths are what professional podcasters are called. Let's just say we're your favorite Podsmiths, favorite Podsmiths.
On our show, we discuss a variety of different topics and segments, from the latest news to your favorite tunes.
And it's not just us. Every week we bring in a special guest to shake things up.
So join me, CJ Stevenson,
And me, Kate Nakamura, every Monday at 4:30 p.m. on Blaze Radio.
Heya! Want to stay up to date with what's up in the gaming industry? Want to listen to a girl yap about her gaming opinions and hot takes? Then tune in Wednesdays at 4 p.m. for Power Up on BlazeRadioOnline.com to join me, Chaz Alvin, as I walk you through the latest and greatest in gaming news, from PC to console, from indie to AAA, while also discussing what makes video games such an...
45 down, 45 to go here from CPKC Stadium, a quadruple header for the first round of the Big 12 soccer tournament presented by Sprouts Farmers Market. We're into the final 45. Barring this game goes into extra time / penalties between Arizona State and Kansas. Jayhawks up 1-0 right now on the Sun Devils as both teams return to the pitch. Mihirsan Hassan, Joao Lara back with you from Kansas City. Glad that you could tune in on this Wednesday afternoon if you're back in Phoenix, evening here in Kansas City as the sun starts to sit on the banks of the Missouri River. Arizona State back out on the pitch in their all-black kits, now moving from right to left. Kansas now going from left to right, white tops, blue shorts, and white socks. You know, Joao, we talked about it in the first half. A disappointing showing from Arizona State. How do they change it in the second and save their season?
Look, in order to save the season, it's going to sound simple, but it's going to be a little more difficult, some could say. First of all, you need to have an intended target. They're trying to play a ball up the pitch. They're trying to send a long ball. It's not functioning. And then number two, you have a poacher on your team. Give Kara Blundell service. Blundell needs the ball, and why don't you give it to her? We've seen situations where teams have been able to turn it around within a half. Let's see if the Sun Devils could do it.
So ASU going on the ball now, right now. Kick of the half.
Look, ASU cannot get stuck on these corners. If someone has the ball, it's just boot it out. Get it out of the box. Please move it out of the box. If I'm an ASU fan, that's what I'm hoping right now. Let's see how it goes for him on this corner.
Michaela Merlo out of the far corner flag for Kansas right now. The 5'3" graduate midfielder from Broomfield, Colorado sends this in near post. Gregorski with the chance. It was last touched off of her, so a goal kick goes to Pauline Nellis and Arizona State.
Now, let's see how ASU starts touching the ball. They had difficulty playing from the back. Every time they had the ball, they'd crumble under pressure. They need to calm down. They need to take a moment and see if they can, do some magic with the ball.
Flown in towards the center circle. Valadares able to win it back for Arizona State. Popped out towards Mayfarrell on the right, towards Kerry Matthews. Past the center line, dancing around, working against a Jayhawk. Matthews still staying with the ball, trying to use some Joga Bonito. Gets away from it. Played towards Lauren Kerberg in the double pivot. And out of the center back, Grace Gillard in the left half space. To Johnson, and now to Anasia Colon. Down the left wing. This is Anasia Colon working in towards the center. Knocked away momentarily. Colon trying to get away from a couple of Jayhawks. Trying to sprint her way around. Trying to pluck the ball. She goes down. No foul called. Back with Kansas. Back with Grace Gillard and Arizona State as she picks it off. And now sends it towards May Farrell on the right-hand side. Farrell in some space. Tries to find Valadares. That one poked away by the Jayhawks. Spun around is Kerberg. Coleman. Farrell. Clipped around to Cologne in the middle part of the pitch. Picked away by Lauren Wood. Still spinning around. Jillian Grigorski gets control of it here with 42:05 left in the second half. Kansas still up 1-0 against Arizona State.
Look, this is the Arizona State squad we should have seen since they got out of the tunnel and onto the pitch. Even though it's early in the second half, it's commentators curse there, sorry. They've touched the ball better. They're starting to find an attacking purpose, and they're starting to talk to each other better. It's seemingly working out for ASU so far.
Valadares on the left clips this in. Intended towards Blundell and Matthews in the center part of the pitch in the box. It ends up going in the near side netting. Goal kick for Sophie Daw and Kansas. 41-22 remaining in the second half. Kansas up 1-0 against Arizona State. Daw set to take the goal kick on the near side of her 6-yard box. Blue tops, blue shorts, blue socks. Kind of similar to Kansas men's basketball and even Kansas women's basketball home kits, or in this case, home jerseys.
Correct, and it's a nice looking jersey, by the way.
One back by Kettles. Arizona State's bench being more vocal than they were in the first half, as Kettles will win a free kick. On the near side, right in front of Graham Winkworth and the Arizona State bench. Kerberg, she'll be the one to take it. Numbers flying forward. Farrell at the center line in the center circle. Johnson in that area as well. They're the farthest field players back alongside Kerberg. Nellis roughly 25 yards away from goal. Kerberg lifts it into the box. Nobody able to meet that one as it bounces to Daw.
And ASU, they're now it seems like they don't want to go home. Their bench is now chirping. Their players are talking on the field. They're finally trying to check into a space, talk and pull a Kansas player to play it to an open space created once when the players pulled. There's some subtle changes going on. There's still a lot to play for here in this game, and ASU is finally showing signs of life little by little.
The one thing I will say about that, Joao, is you had one shot in the entirety of the first half for Arizona State. Just a little over 5 minutes played in the second half, you have one shot. So that by itself is already an improvement for Arizona State trying to hold possession. And Kansas on the other side, complacent right now. They're just going to get the ball back as they do so here with Wood. Now Kate Langfelder. Langfelder plays it towards Wimes in the center part of the pitch. To the left half space for Merlot. And now out on the left-hand side for Castens. Checked in towards Wimes on the left wing. Back to Castens, left-footed into the box. Can't find Grigorski. Bouncing towards the back post. And Wood collides with an Arizona State Sun Devil on the left-hand side for Arizona State. That's Kettles. She'll earn the free kick inside the 18.
And that's the scrappy play we've seen the scrappy type of play that we've seen from Kettles all year, putting her body on the line for the ball. And it's not only been this game, it's been all season. She's been an absolute wonder to watch this year. In Spanish, we'd call her La Máquina, the machine, because she'd never stop working, running up and down the pitch.
Throwing now for Kansas. Going down the left-hand side, Carolyn Castens to take it. She's caused some trouble for Arizona State's defense in the past. Had 2 goals against Kansas State in the Sunflower Showdown last Friday. Ball bouncing on that far side. Langfelder trying to win it back. It's Kettles to do so for ASU. Pokes it and eventually cleared by Wood. ASU trying to recollect with Johnson on the left wing. Knocked away by Wood. Throw in for the Sun Devils. 37-53 remaining in the second half. Sun Devils down 1-0, trying to keep their season alive. They've been to the NCAA tournament in the past 3 seasons. They're trying to make it 4 with a win in the tournament. So that's a win tonight, a win on Saturday, a semifinal win next Wednesday, and then a final win next Saturday on November 9th. Long way to go for Graham Winkworth's side. Currently 11th out of 16th in the Big 12. Here comes Kansas, the other side. Lexi Watts patrolling around, and Farrell with a great recollect, going back, grabbing the ball, and bringing it forward. Back with Kansas, with Castens on the left. Castens gets past Matthews. Farrell again poking it away. And that's been the one thing, Joao, is even though the Sun Devils have not been well on the offensive side, the defense has been pretty constant.
And it's thanks to, it's grit. Lucy Johnson and Grace Gillard aren't necessarily the fastest defenders, but their physicality is what gives them, that fight and that great defensive structure. And then on the other side of things, you have Coleman and you have Farrell, who are speedsters, and they'll win you back the ball with speed.
Cologne trying to find Blundell. That's poked up in the air by Olivia Page. Ball bouncing towards the right, picked up by Jordan Felstad, brought down by Lauren Wood. Kettles trying to keep it in play for Arizona State. Knocks it towards Kerberg, and now to Gillard's left half space, and now back to Pauline Nellis, just beyond her 18. Nellis pips it out towards Farrell, off her face, but she's able to bring it down. Brought down by Merlot towards Matthews. Past the center line, Carrie Matthews switches the field of play over towards Johnson on the left. Johnson looking up pitch, checks back towards Cologne. Now Blundell, she's checking in once again. Back towards Cologne in the left half space. Cologne working down, picked away by Kansas, cleared away by Merlot. Gillard will send it back. Ball still bouncing around. Johnson, Cologne, and Kettles. Kettles controls, flips to the center circle. Past it now, horizontally, right side, Farrell. Farrell, Valadares can't get to it. Castens has been causing her problems today.
She's been disruptive, and she's been a key figure for Kansas today.
35-17 remaining in the second half. Sun Devils down 1-0 on the attack in these past few minutes, but they need a goal to, at the very least, force extra time and keep their season alive. The winner of this game takes on West Virginia in the nightcap on Saturday. Johnson, throw-in, searching for options. Everybody's marked right now. A couple steps forward. Johnson, still looking. Players checking in and out. Blundell checks out. She's got it on her right peg. That's knocked away by a backtracking Grigorski. Another clear away by Wood. She's holding her right hand right now. Play continues on. Grigorski going forward. She's clipped down by Gillard. No foul called there. Now it's when Blundell again. Back to goal, trying to fight for the ball. Knocked away by Langfelder, but it's back with Arizona State and Ella Kettles. Johnson trying to find Cologne. Cologne going through the back of Felstad as she lays face flat on the ground. Free kick for Arizona State. 34-15 remaining in the second half. And again, the Sun Devils, they're pressing. It's just a matter of when, Joao.
And the roles have sort of flip-flopped a little bit here. Now it's Kansas playing the mindless ball, trying to send it forward, and it's not working from an ASU is finding their footing little by little. It was all mental in the first half, and they've they've gotten so much better. I don't know what Graham told him at halftime. He might have heard Mahir, talk about him on the broadcast, but they have flipped things, and it's going well for the Sun Devils, and they look like they can get one back here.
So free kick now for Kansas. Asa Kante to take it. White top, blue shorts, white socks. Sends it down the pitch. Doesn't go in play. Still on that near side. A throw-in now for ASU. Lucy Johnson, the left back. Looking up pitch. Trying to find some sort of option for the Sun Devils. Kettles trying to check in. Blundell and Cologne. She plays it in towards that far area. Kettles trying to race for it. Back towards Kerberg, and Kerberg plays it back towards the goalkeeper, Pauline Nellis, the German. A lot of experience playing for the Deutschland over the years at the youth levels.
Currently featured, or she featured with Germany in the U19 World Cup 2 years ago that was played in Costa Rica. Has been stellar for Germany, has been stellar for ASU. And there is going to be a substitution here for Kansas. Coming off is going to be number 13, Lauren Wood. Coming on is going to be number 17, Emily Tobin.
Tobin will slide into that right fullback position as this ball is booted forward. Cologne with a dashing run, but she won't be able to get to it on the left wing. Throwing back towards Kansas. 32:50 remaining in the second half. Kansas up 1-0. There's not ideally a host for this tournament, being in Kansas City, but Lawrence is 45 minutes away as Wimes goes down. She's shoved from behind by Kettles. 10 of the 30 players on Kansas' squad hailing from the Kansas City area. What people are calling the soccer capital of the world, which, I mean, is kind of true. I mean, you have KC Current, where they're playing this game here at their stadium. That's what CPKC is all about. Then you also have Children's Mercy Park for Sporting Kansas City, the MLS team. You have so many different options. Here comes Kansas again. Caroline Kestens with the shot and a goal.
Wow.
And a potential dagger for Arizona State's season comes in dazzling fashion. Caroline Kestens, her third goal in 2 games. A laser to the top right corner. And the Jayhawks lead 2-0 with 32 minutes and 2 seconds remaining in the second half.
There's not much you can do on those type of plays. The only thing you could really do beforehand is get someone on the ball, get someone pressuring Kestens. Kestens had all the time, had all the space in the world, lets off an absolute rocket. And there's not much you can do about that. Really, just a great shot from Kestens and furthers Kansas' lead here.
Kettles trying to get the ball back, booted away by Merlot, last touched off of the Jayhawks. So throw in for the Sun Devils. 31:43 remaining in the second half. We have seen crazier things, Joao, at this 2024 Big 12 Soccer Championships presented by Sprouts Farmers Market. Cincinnati was up 2-0 against Oklahoma State with 15 minutes to go. OK State with 3 goals scored in the final 15 minutes to win it in regulation. As the ball bounces inside of the 6, it's still in the area, and Kiera Blundell gets one back for ASU. Sophie Daw was unable to grab the ball. It was bouncing. She could have had the underhanded catch, lets it bounce, and Kiera Blundell, Graham Winkworth has wanted her to be greedy this entire season. She is there, and just like that, maybe a minute, not even a minute, after Kansas makes it a 2-0 ball game, Arizona State cuts the Jayhawks lead in half.
Let me tell you, this is a partial reason why she was voted Big 12 Freshman of the Year. She's a poacher. Right place at the right time. If it's not a good ball, it's these type of situations. And she's so aware to recognize that the ball is there to go ahead and do something. Now, this is giving me Oklahoma State sort of vibes. They were down 2-0. They got one back immediately, and the last 20 minutes were the best 20 minutes of their season practically. I mean, it won them their season back.
So can Arizona State, just like OK State, the Cowgirls, they're taking on BYU on Saturday. Can Arizona State make a push for the weekend as well? Kiera Blundell, her 9th goal of the season, shows why, as Joao said, she is the Big 12 Freshman of the Year. 30-33 remaining in the second half. Olivia Page near the center circle, plays it out wide on the left-hand side for Castens. That's poked away by Farrell. Arizona State with some newfound energy after what was, at the time, an insurance goal. Here comes Matthews on the right, settling as numbers trail forward. Tries to play it off towards Kettles on the left, picked off by Langfelder. Langfelder plays it in towards the center circle, and here comes Lexi Watts traversing into the right half space. Still dancing around in the attacking third. Lexi Watts lets it fly, and it ends up going into the supporters section, probably 5 rows deep.
You just saw what happened with Caroline Castens. You can't let Watts run rampant like that. If she would have had a proper footing on that, it could have been another dangerous situation. And ASU is putting themselves in situations of danger, and they have to find a way to prevent that.
Johnson on the left skips past a couple Jayhawks. Now towards Cologne, working in towards the side. Inasia Cologne plays a through ball, can't find Valadares as Daw collects it, falls on it right at the edge of her 6. 29-17, Arizona State down 2-1. Time is ticking in Kansas City. Arizona State, they need a goal. Otherwise, their white horse on the 2024 season is coming around. Johnson, near side, pips it forward, looking towards Cologne again. Cologne avoids Conte, who spirals this into the stands, nearly got to the upper deck. A throw-in for Arizona State. Time continues to tick. Throw-in coming for Johnson. Near the left wing, almost parallel to the 18-yard box. Looking for some options, and Kiera Blundell, who is going to receive the ball, will have to play it back towards Johnson. A push off of Felstad from the back. So take 2 with Johnson. Blundell still wrestling, sends Felstad to ground. Blundell able to get it, sends it towards the middle, picked up by Grigorski, cleared only as far as Kettles. Kettles wrestled off the ball by Merlot, crunching tackle by Johnson. Johnson able to keep it going before it's poked away by Grigorski. Gillard will see this one towards the near touchline. Nellis will play it towards the near side in her 18. She glides us forward with the right boot, trying to find Blundell. That's poked away by Olivia Page with her head. Grigorski, a right-footed flick up. Chested down, stomach down by Gillard, and out towards Farrell on the right. 27-40, Sun Devils down 2-1. Still in need of a goal to keep their season alive. Kettles towards Cologne on the right. And Asia Cologne working in the middle. She's lapped down. No foul called. And I know the IMG Academy product wants it in that situation. Johnson. Back towards Gillard. Gillard. Left space. Play back towards Nellis. Center part of the pitch. 25 yards away from her goal line. Few touches. 1, 2. Now she rolls it out. Seeing this one forward. Play slowing down for now as Nellis scoops it over towards Blundell. Barely got a flick to it as Blundell challenges Tobin for that ball before Conte clears it off Kansas's back line and back towards the front. Now speaking of back lines, here comes Olivia Coleman, the ASU center back, with Farrell as Farrell glides us towards the center, and that's picked off by Langfelder. Merlot, Castens. Merlot, one-time ball, picked around. Kerberg trying to get a ball to it. Castens will see this out for a throw-in. A lot of possession that's not going anywhere, Joao.
And it's really a battle of the midfielders right now. As soon as that ball hits the middle, ASU has changed some things, and now we're seeing Lucy Johnson come up, try to find the middle. Now we're seeing Kansas defenders such as Wood go up and fight in the middle. It's really whoever wins that battle in the middle is going to have a direct pathway to the goal. And it's it's just interesting to see how this game is further developing.
Down the line for Harima. Castens, one-time cross in, skips past Watts. Grigorski can't get a touch to it. Still in the area. Grigorski with a chance before it's skied away by Kerberg. Bounces off the CPKC stands. Throw-in coming far side for the Jayhawks, but not before this change as Mackenzie Hammondtree returns to the match, coming off a 43-minute appearance versus Kansas State. Tied for her longest appearance of the season, 2 shots and 1 shot on goal. Nate Lee relying on his bench tonight. Overall, 6 substitutions for Kansas, only 2 for ASU. As a challenge rolls in and Pauline Nellis comes shaken up on all fours right now inside her 6. Getting some condolences right now from Coleman and Gillard. And now our referee for today, Austin Saney, will also check on her. She's back up on her feet. 25:04 remaining in the second half. It's Kansas 2, Arizona State 1. The Sun Devils, in their first ever Big 12 tournament, in their first ever tournament in a long time, because Pac-12 never had this sort of sequence. When the regular season ended, it ended. Simple as that. And usually this last week of the season, late October, early November, would be scheduled for a regular season game. Now you have this giant tournament, 4 games in the course of roughly 10 to 11 days, starting today. Next round, the quarterfinals on Saturday. Semifinals next Wednesday. The final next Saturday. All of them happening here at CPKC Stadium, the home of the NWSL's KC Current. Throwing for Kansas. Going down the left-hand side, this is Caroline Castens. Clips this into the box. Bounced up towards Nellis, who stoops to get it. At her 18, can the Sun Devils put together a masterpiece when life and when the season depends on it the most? Nellis in her all-pink jersey, pink sleeves, a little bit of a purple chest area, pink shorts, pink socks. Sends it back, and it eventually stays with Arizona State. Kansas had it for a while, and now the maroon and gold have it back on a throw-in far side. Near the center line, 23:50 remaining in the second half. Megan Farrell to take the throw-in. She'll have to back her way, and now she'll send it up. Merlot bouncing around. Blundell can't get a touch to it. Conte once again boots it forward. That's been the recipe for the longest time for Kansas in this one. Throwing now, coming for Kansas, Graham Winkworth on the near touchline. Black cap, black jacket, black pants, black shoes. Hopefully it's not Arizona State's funeral. Blundell bouncing around. Still looking for options. Going towards Kansas. Conte, Page, and out towards the left-hand side for Castens. A left-footed hurl forward. Farrell giving chase for ASU. Knocks this out on the far touchline. Another throw-in for Kansas in the attacking third. And it seems like the Jayhawks will make some more changes. Sophia Nickel returning to the game. Lexi Watts will head off. 3 goals in this one so far, 22-40. 22 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the second half. Arizona State down 2-1. Cleared away by Farrell. Valadares on the right-hand side, still in her defensive half. Skips it toward Kansas's as it rolled out for a Jayhawks throw-in. Mihirson Haas and Joao Lara here from Kansas City, CPKC Stadium, for the 2024 Big 12 Championship presented by Sprouts Farmers Market. So far, we've only had one upset today, and that was number 10 Baylor beating number 7 Arizona 2-1. That's the scoreline we have right now, but this one is in favor of Kansas, the favorites. Skip forward towards Coleman, back towards Gillard, and now towards Nellis in her own 18. In the center part of the pitch, blocked up, blocked right off of a Kansas player. That was Harima, and it nearly cost Nellis and Arizona State. Graham Winkworth is furious on the near touchline, wanting his players to go forward, the ball to go forward. It does towards Blundell in the center circle. It's bouncing around, And Kansas has it back. Out on the right-hand side, Tobin lifts this one down. This one knocked off of a Sun Devil, so a throw-in for Kansas. 21-17 remaining in the second half. Jayhawks trying to have a date with Almost Heaven, West Virginia, if this season and the scoreline holds.
I mean, Kansas is trying to find their trip down that yellow brick road, trying to find the Big 12 championship final, and it all makes sense. If they pull off a win here, they have to face a tough opponent in West Virginia, but defensively, this team is well positioned to go far in this tournament, and really you can't write off anybody because this tournament is featuring the 12 best teams in the conference, and it's anybody's game.
Bladell going down the right half space towards the 18. Conte slides it away from her, and a throw-in for the Sun Devils, parallel to the 18 on that far touchline. Farrell with a first-time pass, nicked away by the Jayhawks. Back towards Harima, playing the number 9 spot right now, and Harima held from behind by Kerberg, so a free kick for the Jayhawks. Clock continues to run. Time continues to tick. 20 minutes remaining in the second half, and the Sun Devils need a goal to keep their season alive. Free kick misplayed, and it's back with Ella Kettles, and the Sun Devils tried to go towards Cologne. Cologne couldn't get a touch to it, but it was last touched by Jordan Felstad of Kansas. Throw-in for the Maroon and Gold. Graham Winkworth looking on from the touchline. Kettles trying to find Valadares. Might have gotten away with the handball as she recollects it in the right half space. In towards that side, Farrell sent in. Cologne nicked down. Can't find Blundell. Felstad is down on the pitch. Play continues on as Felstad gets up. Here's Johnson on the left flank, working against Tobin. Johnson flicked up, cleared away. Last touched off of Johnson. And the Englishwoman a little bit perplexed about that call. Goal kick for Sophie Daw in Kansas. 19:07 remaining in the second half.
Kansas has thrown all of their defenders back. All their players are now back, and for good reason. I mean, you got scored on unexpectedly out of nowhere. When they seemed like they had this game in cruise control, it's gotten out of their hands a little bit, but really it's been moments. Arizona State has been good in moments. The first couple of 10 minutes, they played absolutely phenomenal. Right now, they're sort of reflecting their old ways in the first half, and many times this season too, where they've been a little bit, I'm sorry for the term, lethargic, and it's just, it's moments, and it's important to see how ASU is gonna wrap up this game.
Matthews in the center part of the pitch towards Kettles. Blocked away by Tobin. A chance here for Kansas with Harima. Down the right in the 18. Harima's shot blocked away by Gillard, but nonetheless a corner kick coming up for the Jayhawks. Numbers rolling up forward for Nate Lee's side. A team that, even though is just 45 minutes away from Kansas City, have very seldom made trips to the Big 12 tournament. Back when it was 8 teams versus the 12 that you see now. Boy, would this be big for a program on the rise this season. Caroline Castens to take the corner. Right hand up to the sky. Driving her left foot forward into the box. Driveled down, still in the area, and cleared away by Gillard. Only as far as Merlot. 25 yards out, redirected in. A header caught by Nellis on the run to her right side. Nellis looking for a quick restart too. Now she'll just bounce it down, let the numbers go forward. A couple bounces, and now she'll punt it. Driven right down the middle. Merlot gets it off of her stomach. Blundell plays it out towards Cologne. Cologne recollects. Back to goal. Pressured. Double teamed. Harima knocks it away from her. Throw in ASU. Johnson looking for some options too. Tries to pop it down for Cologne. Here's Cologne on the second team for the Big 12 All-Conference. Poked away as Valadares was in the middle. Valadares able to get it back. And here's Kettles. gliding it over towards Farrell on the right-hand side. 17 minutes, less than 17 minutes left to play as the ball is sent in a little too high for Blundell. It trickles out on the near end line. A goal kick for Kansas City. 16-20, 16 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the second half. The Sun Devils playing for their life, down 2-1 against Kansas. Changes coming for the Jayhawks. Tobin is off. Grigorski is on. And we'll see Merlot come off as well. And Mackenzie Hammondtree will track up as well. Hammondtree with her 12th appearance of the season.
It's important to see how Kansas is going to react. Obviously, Grigorski is one of the offensive powerhouses, but Merlot was handling business in the middle. Let's see if Hammondtree can fill up those big shoes that Merlot left.
Flicked on. Now going forward is Nickel. Coleman will clear it away. A throw-in now for Kansas as another change is made by Nate Lee. This time it's Shay Ryan. She describes her play as extreme, models her play after Erling Holland. She'll head off for Sophia Nickel, I believe. So a very quick stint for Sophia Nickel, the 5'2" freshman defender from Golden, Colorado. Nonetheless, play continues. Kansas back in the attacking third. Flicked up, headed down by May Farrell of ASU as Carrie Matthews sends this high into the night sky. Hammondtree able to control it off a few bounces. Now with Olivia Page for the Jayhawks. Asa Conte, good move to get away from Valadares. Less than 15 minutes to go. Sent down the line, looking for Ryan. Off of her chest. Ryan able to collect. Gives it off towards Castens. Left-footed ball headed up by Gillard outside of the 18. Redirected back in, though. And Kettles able to clear it away alongside Kerberg. Out on the left wing again. Kansas contempt with keeping possession to try to get a win. What would be their 10th win of the season. Glided forward, bouncing around. Grigorski traps it down towards the right for Wood. Inside the 18, Lauren Wood with the cross. Actually was going for the shot, and it just rocketed a little bit off of Nellis's net. Wide right towards the top. 14 minutes remaining from CPKC Stadium. A quadruple header to start off the 2024 Sprouts Farmers Market Big 12 Soccer Tournament. 2 wins, 1 upset. Kansas hoping to make it 3 on the day when it comes to chalk.
And Kansas, who started playing more offensively now, it's risky. It's really risky, especially at this stage of the game. Your players are obviously gonna become more tired, and you leave less players at the back, and ASU with the counter, they can tie this game up and possibly come back to life.
Daw controlling it right now, fresh off the long ball intended for Blundell. That's been the story of the day. Kiera Blundell able to have a goal, though. And she did earlier in the game. Now it's just about going down the line and finding the equalizer. 77 minutes through here from Kansas City. Watts with the goal in the 17th minute. Castens in the 58th. And Blundell to cut the lead in half in the 59th. Do we have another goal in store here in Kansas City?
We could.
How would it happen?
It could go both ways. I think it could be an ASU counter. If not, Kansas just takes advantage of whatever space ASU gives them, and they have very talented players on the attack, and I think it's possible anywhere.
Megan Sofield calling for a substitution on the near touch line, and she will enter the game for Megan Farrell. So an offensive change here for Graham Winkworth. Sofield, who has played forward, now granted played more center forward, is now going officially forward. So she won't go towards Farrell's right back spot. So Graham Winkworth opting to play with 2 strikers with his season on the line. Sofield up higher and Blundell essentially playing an attacking midfielder position, but nonetheless still playing a striker role.
It's interesting to see how the ASU defense is going to react to this 3-back, and especially now, I mentioned earlier, Kansas could end up scoring one more time. ASU has one less defender, and that just means more space for Kansas overall. So let's see what they do on this attack.
Castens, one-time ball played towards Ryan. Ryan looking to find some options on the left wing, plays it back towards Castens. Dribble down towards Page. Page in space for Hammondtree. In the attacking third, Hammondtree lifts it up, deflected right towards the top of the box, still bouncing around. Gillard trying to clear it away. Ryan trying to bring it down. She plays it away, and a shot by Hammondtree is skied well over the net. Could not get full contact on it as the ball spliced in towards the stands. 10:42 remaining in the second half. Sun Devils still down 2-1.
And those were the type of spaces I was talking about with Kansas. Gillard can't let the ball go, can't clear the ball well, and Hammondtree just finds it. She has time, she has space, and wants to have one.
Goal kick Nellis. Knocked away by Hammondtree. Off the back head of Johnson. Brought down. Gillard boots it forward. Blundell unable to get it off the first touch. Castens back with her. Lifts it down. Ryan giving chase towards the end line. Gillard will shield her off. Last touched off of Kansas. So an ASU goal kick. More changes coming for Nate Lee's side. They've been coming in and out. Much more constant. No in and out in Kansas City, though. It's a good burger. Is it better than Whataburger? I don't know. Sage Wimes back in the game. Shay Ryan will check out.
That might have to be a theory that we test later. Who knows?
Played forward by Nellis. Skips past Blundell. Sofield trying to get control of it. And the whistle will blow. Handball called against the maroon and gold. Wearing black tonight. Kansas in the white jerseys. Asakante prompting everybody to go forward. Stutter step. Plays it forward. High in the air. Knocked down. Still in the area. Harima gives it off towards Hammondtree. And back out on the right for Wood. Lauren Wood now towards the near touchline. Almost entirely on it. Felstad gets it back. She lifts it in. A header! Saved by Nellis. And either way, flag went up for offside. That was a good chance by Jillian Grigorski. She's 5'6", but was able to get ahead to it. 9:03. Sun Devils still playing for their lives. Goal kick by Nellis. And Sofield will be called for the foul on Page. A few cheers from the Kansas supporter section on the far side of the pitch. A lot of blue shirts, a lot of blue hoodies, some red as well. No rock chalk sign. As Kansas looks to keep the Big 12 tournament for the most part chalk right now. Win, and they're facing number 3 West Virginia on Saturday.
That is a tough journey for whoever ends up winning this game. Obviously right now it's Kansas, but there's still 9 minutes left. Now ASU needs to manage possession. They need to stop getting these fouls that just they're simply, you know, forcing the ball over to Kansas. It's just you need to keep your head in these moments.
Knocked away near side. Throwing for the Jayhawks. Less than 8 minutes to go now. On the score sheet, it's 2-1 Kansas. And the stat sheet, it's been all Kansas. 19 shots, 6 of them on target. 3 shots for ASU, only 1 of them troubling in net. Grigorski in the 18 couldn't get a touch to it as Coleman was there. Langfelder plays it out towards Castens on the left. Castens lifts it into the box, bounces past everybody. Recollected on the near side. Still trying to find some options as Gillard picks it off and clears it away only as far as Wood, who is trying to go forward 25 yards away. Lauren Wood's shot skips past the defense and finds Nellis, who scoops it up. Nellis on the restart. Punts it forward. It's back in towards Arizona State's attacking third. Last touched by Felstad, who is going up against Cologne. Cologne will take the throw-in. Kettles in the left half space. Can't find Blundell. It's found out towards Matthews on the right, and she skies it in towards the Yeti bar sign that is out there on the end line. Changes coming for Kansas. Watts and Tobin back into the game. 6:51 left right now. Play clock has been stopped. We've been saying it before, Joao. It's do or die time.
It's do or die. And it's pitch dark outside here in Kansas City. Is that about to be ASU season? Is the question.
Coleman just clears it away. Castens returns the favor. Wimes down the left-hand side, in towards the attacking third, working up against Coleman. Wimes plays it off. Hammondtree, one touch over towards Castens on the left. Castens, left-footed glider, headed away by Kerberg, only as far as Hammondtree in the 18. Plays it off, and a shot and a save by Pauline Nellis. Nellis trying to restart it, going forward over the head of Page. Valadares can't get ahead to it. She's been quiet for the longest time today. Can she make some noise late? 6:06 remaining in the second half. Watts trying to get past Coleman. Coleman shoved from behind. And the Austin, Texas native will earn a free kick for ASU. Big 12 tournament was played in Round Rock for the past 3 editions. Very close to where Coleman was based. Would have been a good homecoming for her. Here in Kansas City, we get some state-of-the-art facilities here at CPKC Stadium, home of the NWSL's KC Current.
Very impressive stadium. And it's been a host to some great soccer so far. It's barely day one. We've had so much action. And I can only imagine that Saturday is going to be the exact same thing. And especially now with more on the line, you have your big dogs like BYU and TCU finally coming out to play West Virginia. Let's see. It's definitely going to be interesting to see, you know, who steps up and if there's any upsets on Saturday too.
Throwing ASU, Coleman going to the right-hand side to take it. She's essentially playing the right back spot for the Sun Devils. Down the line, looking towards Matthews. That one is cleared away. It will be a throw-in for Arizona State. Page was the one tracking, just got it off before it went towards the end line. Throw-in, bounce down towards the 18. Sun Devils scramble for it. Coleman gets to it, clipped into the box, bouncing towards the left for Cologne. Her shot blocked up in the air by Tobin. She sees it around. Conte just yanks it out on the near touchline. Thrown by ASU, quickly taken by Kettles, knocked away by Tobin. It stays with the Sun Devils. 4:18 remaining in the second half. Sun Devils down 2-1, looking for the equalizer. Third consecutive throw for Kettles. This time she goes back towards Johnson. Johnson evades Wimes, but can't play it towards Cologne.
That's a very unfortunate sequence. Johnson had other options. There is going to be a substitution for Kansas. Coming in is going to be number 12, Michaela Merlo. Coming off is going to be number 34, Jillian Gregorski. So coming off for the second time today.
Bit of a defensive change for Nate Lee and crew. Merlo, known for being physical as a center midfielder. As the ball goes out, Graham Winkworth immediately sends it towards his players. Throw and taken down to Sofield. She loses it as Conte clears it high in the air. Back towards Gillard. Bouncing up. Moonball here in the night sky in Missouri. Brought down. Hammondtree. No, it was Kettles who got the last touch to it. So near side throw-in for the Jayhawks right near the center line. 3:26 remaining in this second half. Tobin down the line towards Wimes. Wimes trying to get past Gillard, and she's called for the foul.
And Nell's rushing towards that ball. She recognizes time is running out. And let's see to who she can get this ball to, because Kansas has everybody in the back. There's there's rarely a black shirt that's alone.
Ball skipping towards the 18, cleared away by Langfelder in the white headband. All the way back towards Coleman, center part of the pitch, and now to Nellis. Just beyond her own 18, looking up pitch, sending it up pitch, headed back by Merlot. Back and forth we go with less than 3 minutes to go here in Kansas City. Out towards the right, Matthews with Merlot. Merlot goes to ground, no foul called as the ball does not find Valadares on the right-hand side. Frustration building for the Sun Devils as time continues to dwindle.
There's so many promising sequences happening right now, and it's super disappointing for the Sun Devils not being able to string some passes together. And whenever, Valladares is open too, I'm speechless.
It's not there.
It's not there.
It's not there. 2 minutes remaining. A break down the side for Watts. Kansas playing keep away on the left wing. They're near the 18. They probably don't want to go anywhere near it, though. Nellis has been wanting to restart play throughout this entire second half as the Sun Devils look to make a comeback. Still out on the left wing. Still out with Watts. Gillard probing. She pokes it away. Now it's still in the area. Cleared away, I believe, by Valladares. Now towards the center. Grigorski, or rather Merlot, trying to control it. Castens. Watts. Back to the corner. That's her best friend right now. 80 seconds, less than 80 seconds, here from CPKC Stadium. Gillard clears it away. Valladares trying to get a touch to it. Time is ticking for the maroon and gold. Watts controls back to the corner. Less than 1 minute remaining. Watts working on the end line. She's in the 18. Trying to run figure eights around the Sun Devils side. 50 seconds remaining as the rain starts to pour here in Kansas City. Inclement weather has been noted throughout the city for today. Blundell now towards Kettles. 38 seconds for the Sun Devils. What can they do? One last opportunity in 2024. Cologne on the left, poked away by Langfelder. Throw in for Arizona State. Graham Winkworth ushering everybody forward. Johnson plays it down towards Sofield. It's far. Collision in the area. Cologne still trying to get it up. That one cleared back towards Winkworth. He gives it off towards Johnson. 13 seconds left in this game. Bounced up. Conte clears it. Johnson will have to go back to get this. It rolls down towards the end line, and that will do it from CPKC Stadium. And as the rain starts to fall here in Kansas City, the heartland is where the Sun Devils' hearts are broken. Final score here from CPKC Stadium to wrap up the first round of the Big 12 soccer tournament presented by Sprouts Market. Kansas 2, Arizona State 1.
This game is definitely going to be a lesson learned for ASU, especially your younger players, Kara Blundell and Addison Hawes, Megan Sofield, and many others. And for Lauren Kerberg, for Hannah LaPierre, Maddie Schaefer, Lucy Johnson, and Olivia Coleman, this is really it. It's interesting to see what ASU is going to do in recruiting, who's going to have to step up for the Sun Devil squad, and it's interesting to see. I'm not speculating anything. I don't want to speculate anything. To see if Graham Winkworth decides to change something, or if Graham Winkworth is even going to stay with the institution. There's been chatter and word goes around, but that's besides the point. ASU has played one of the worst games this season. The first half was detrimental. The second half, they showed glimpses of life. Kira Blundell has been phenomenal, not only in glimpses of this game, but the whole season. Now, it's up to Kansas to step up against a Mountaineer squad that's been on fire this season. But there were just so many things that went wrong for ASU. Not being able to keep possession, not being able to string together a sequence, it affected them, and it happened multiple times in the Big 12, and it's just being honest. It's just being honest. Heartbreak for the Sun Devils in Kansas City, Missouri, and not ASU, not U of A. The state of Arizona is definitely in shambles. The night of the 30th of October.
And it's an interesting point that you make, Joel. You know, Utah lost earlier today. Arizona lost earlier today. ASU just lost. And the only reason why Colorado won was because they were playing Utah. It does say something about how the Pac-12 has integrated into its new conference, right? Even though all 4 of the teams made the tournament, they're all out in the first round. And it shows something about how all these teams are adjusting and really how this is a new measure for the season and things that can transpire throughout. Couple things to note before we sign off here from the Heartland. Goals started off in the 17th minute. Lexi Watts, assisted by Sage Wimes and Jillian Grigorski. Caroline Castens in the 58th minute. That ended up being the dagger. A banger towards the top right corner, assisted by Kate Langfelder and Michaela Merlo. Kira Blundell, as Sophie Doss spilled the ball out, able to get the rebound, and Sun Devils were in it for the longest time for the last 30 minutes or so, but just were unable to find that equalizer. 21 shots for Kansas, 7 of them on goal, 4 shots for Arizona State, 1 of them troubling Daw, and it was Blundell's goal, her 9th goal of the season. So that's the 2 things to note. And then you also mentioned seniors. And again, I think there's a little hope for Graham Winkworth and squad. There's a lot of hope for this Arizona State side. So, yes, Olivia Coleman, a starter, is gone. Lauren Kerberg, a starter, is gone. Carrie Matthews, a starter, is gone. That being said, you still have a lot of pieces that are still here. Still a lot of different options that you can use. And again, in a season where you didn't have Savannah Maley, who played a lot of non-conference last year. Ella Oquitna didn't feature that much this year either. Hannah Lapierre, same with her, even though she's a grad student and she might be out the door. There's so many different players. And I think Graham Winkworth is excited about the future of this program, especially from the offensive side where you have Cologne in her senior year next year, and you have Blundell, another year of that pairing. Still a lot of different options for both sides.
You still have Pauline Nellis, one of the best goalkeepers in the country. There's a base to build around, but there's going to have to be people that raise their hand and say, yeah, it's my turn.
So that does it here from CPKC Stadium. All of the games moved up by 2 to 3 hours because of inclement weather coming at the night. And in the 3rd minute, or not the 3rd minute, but 3 minutes left to go in the second half, it started pouring. It's still pouring right now, so we're going to get drenched on our way back to the Airbnb. But nonetheless, a good day here at the office. CPKC Stadium for the first round of the 2024 Big 12 Soccer Tournament, presented by Sprouts Farmers Market. So your second round matchups, as it is right now, number 5 Oklahoma State against number 4 BYU, and then you will have number 9 Colorado against number 1 TCU. Then going into the evening slate, number 10 Baylor against number 2 Texas Tech, a battle of the Lone Star State in that regards. And then wrapping up the night, number 6 Kansas against number 3 West Virginia. That does it on this Wednesday night here from Kansas City. For Luke Lendler and Joel Lara, I'm Mahirsan Hassan. Thanks for tuning in to the 2024 Big 12 Soccer Tournament on Blaze Radio and the Blaze Sports YouTube page. So long, have a good night, and stay safe. We'll see you on Saturday for the quarterfinals.
I thought I released a good album until Naughty Step said it was bad.
I hear this project and I am frustrated.
I better listen to Blaze Radio.
Hi, I'm Pedro. Did you know you can listen to anything? Blaze Radio says you can, and so do I. I believe that until listened to, every song, album, EP, and DJ set is hot until proven otherwise. And that's why I fight for you, Headbangers. Hot FM. Hot FM on Blaze Radio. Listen live every Monday at 11 a.m. on blazeradioonline.com. That's blazeradioonline.com.
Is what I wanted. It's what I've been waiting for these cars to come off of this corner. And guys, it's showtime. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Ooh, let's go racing today, boys.
Are you a racing fan or want to learn more about the sport? Join Cooper Burns and Eric List every Tuesday from 1 to 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Blaze Radio as they discuss everything from NASCAR to dirt racing and more on Fuel for Thought.
How to throw a football. How to hit a baseball off a bat. How to make a basketball go through the hoop and make that swish sound. These are all questions we wonder when we are learning how to play a sport. But have you ever wondered what it may be like to interview someone who is in the sports industry? Like, how do I become a broadcaster? How do I become a graphic designer? How do I become a public address announcer? It's all here. How to Sports, your go-to sports industry leading show here on Blaze Radio and blazeradioonline.com. Tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. with Ryan Posesnik, Max Williams, and Tyler Wargo. How to Sports. It's in the game.
Grab your mates and join us for the finest sports show on Blaze Radio, The Irish Hello. With the wisdom of the Irish duo, you'll have the knowledge of old pals at the pub, sharing each and every moment. Join Aidan O'Neill and Shay Maloney every Wednesday night from 8:30 to 9:30 for breakdowns of sports news across the world as a pot of gold awaits.
Welcome to 4 on 4, where we have all 4 experts on the 4 major sports. Join Sammy Newt, Dylan Wickman, Justin DeHaas, and Sean Brennan on Blaze Radio MLB postseason, top NFL storylines, the big MLB postseason, top NFL storylines, the biggest offseason news.